Hello friends, my name is Anne-Marie and today is a great day to learn something new.
So let's do that together. My name is Gabe. Thank you very much for joining us here today on
Studio Classroom. We are finishing up our article all about the sport called padel, and according to our article, it is the fastest growing sport in the world.
That is quite a big claim. And it may be true. From what I learned about it yesterday, it seems like a very interesting sport. If you haven't played it before, but you enjoy sports like tennis or squash, maybe you could give padel a shot. Because yesterday we learned that padel is easy to learn, fun to play, entertaining to watch, and challenging to master.
I'm looking forward to learning more about this sport in today's lesson. So let's get right into our first reading for the day.
Paddle, the fastest growing sport in the world. Paddle uses solid paddles and a tennis-like ball. In the middle of the paddle court is a net, just like in tennis. The court itself is enclosed and smaller than a tennis court. Only underhand serves are allowed because of the court size. Players hit the ball back and forth over the net, but like squash, shots that bounce off the walls are fair game, making the game more dynamic. The scoring is similar to tennis, and the game is usually played in doubles. It's no wonder paddle is so popular.
All right, thank you so much, Jack. Let's learn now about how to actually play this sport.
So, padel uses solid paddles and a tennis-like ball. Well, let's take a look at this word solid. This could mean something different depending on the context. But solid means hard and firm all the way through, not hollow like some logs out there. And when I get the idea of solid, like a solid paddle, it's not like a net, like a tennis racket, but it looks maybe more like a ping pong paddle.
Here's an example of how you could use that word solid in a sentence. The statue is made from solid marble. So we see here that it's using solid paddles. Now, what is a paddle? Well, it is kind of like a racket, but it is a little bit different. This is a flat tool that's used to hit a ball in some sports, for example, like a ping pong paddle.
That's right. Or in sports like padel, right? Well, we need to get new paddles for our ping pong game because our paddles have broken. Well, so padel is kind of like, I guess, ping pong in a way because it uses paddles that are solid, not with a net. In the middle of the padel court is a net, just like in tennis. Okay, so this is a little bit different from squash because in squash, there's no net. You have two players playing next to each other and you're hitting the ball against a wall.
Okay, very interesting. Let's read on. The court itself is enclosed and smaller than a tennis court. Only underhand serves are allowed because of the court size. Okay, this is helping me understand better how this sport is played. What does it mean if you are doing an underhand serve?
Well, it looks like this. I'm using my hand and going from down to up, right? That's an underhand serve as opposed to some of the overhand serves that you see in tennis, right? So it's a way of throwing or hitting with your hand moving from low to high. Kind of like in baseball, you serve overhand or you pitch overhand, but in softball, you would pitch underhand.
Underhand. Okay, I see. All right, so only underhand serves are allowed. Players hit the ball back and forth over the net, but like squash, shots that bounce off the walls are fair game. This is a great term for you to know, friends. If something is fair game, it means something or someone is allowed to be attacked, criticized, or used.
That's right. For example, during the debate, any topic was fair game. For some reason, this reminds me of a phrase or a saying, all is fair in love and war. Like basically anything is permissible or allowed when it comes to a relationship or when it comes to a war. But anyway, we're talking about here the rules in when you're playing padel that even shots off a wall are considered fair game.
And this makes the game more dynamic. The scoring is similar to tennis, and the game is usually played in doubles. It's no wonder padel is so popular. It's no wonder. This phrase means that something is not surprising.
That's right. So why is it no wonder that padel is so popular? Maybe it's because a lot of people really like tennis, and people like playing in teams, and so you have singles, or you could play in doubles as well. And if you're also a fan of squash and hitting balls off of walls, then you would really love this sport.
All right, friends, we have more to learn, so let's get on with our next reading right now.
Paddle, the fastest growing sport in the world. Second only to soccer in popularity in Spain, paddle is gaining fans everywhere. The first international paddle event, the Corcuera Cup, was held in Mexico in 1991. Today, Premier Paddle, formed in 2022, is the top professional tour.
Let's talk now more about the popularity of padel. We read here, second only to soccer in popularity in Spain, padel is gaining fans everywhere. Let's talk about this word gaining.
Gaining means getting more of something. For another example, she is gaining confidence every time she speaks. So you can gain things that are abstract, like confidence, or you can gain things like fans, like in our lesson, padel is gaining fans everywhere. That is, more and more people are falling in love with this sport around the world.
You could also say that the sport is gaining popularity as well. The first international padel event, we're going to finish with this sentence in a minute, but first let's talk about this word event. An event is something that happens, especially something special that doesn't happen all the time or regularly.
Yeah. For example, graduations don't happen all the time, so they are special events. The school is planning a big event for graduation. But back to padel, the first international padel event, the Corcuera Cup, was held in Mexico in 1991. There are different ways we could talk about maybe hosting an event or an event taking place somewhere. One of those phrases is to hold, right? To hold an event. So that means the event took place in a certain place.
That's right. So for example, you could say the concert was held in the school auditorium. Now sometimes we also use this term held to talk about the time as well. When will the event be held? Then the answer would be a time of day, such as 3 p.m.
All right, so the first international padel event, which is called the Corcuera Cup, was held in Mexico in 1991. It took place there in Mexico. And just as a reminder, Corcuera is referring to Enrique and Viviana's last name. So this event was kind of held or named in their honor.
That's right. Now we read on here today, Premier Padel, formed in 2022, is the top professional tour. Now we see this word professional here, friends, and this can refer to someone who does a job for money, especially a skilled one, but it can also refer to something that is more organized, sometimes by a committee. So we see here that this professional tour probably has a winner who receives a title at the end.
Yeah, a title and probably a lot of money as well, especially if it involves professional sports players. Well, we do have more to learn right after today's Info Cloud.
Paddle, the fastest growing sport in the world. The Corcuera family is still deeply involved. Viviana Corcuera still gives interviews about her husband's invention. Enrique Jr. runs Copa, a company that honors his father's legacy by producing high-quality paddle gear. Interest in the sport is only increasing. A paddle court may soon be coming to a location near you.
Okay, friends, we are reaching the end of our article, so let's learn more about what Padel is doing today.
All right, well, we learn here that the Corcuera family is still deeply involved. Who is the Corcuera family? Well, mainly Enrique and Viviana Corcuera, but probably some relatives as well. They are still deeply involved, that is, very connected or active in something if you're deeply involved.
When I hear someone say that they are deeply involved in something, it usually tells me that they feel very passionate about it, and usually they're involved because they're enjoying it. So here's an example. She's deeply involved in the school drama club. Now, of course, you could also use this term to talk about negative things as well. She's deeply involved in trying to solve the problem, or deeply involved in a toxic relationship.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe she's deeply involved in the wrong crowd, right? What are you deeply involved in, friends? Is there something that you are really passionate about at school, and you love to learn about, and you love to surround yourself with other people who are studying or doing the same thing? Maybe you are deeply involved. Well, of course, the Corcueras are still deeply involved. What do we learn about Viviana Corcuera here?
Well, we see that she still gives interviews about her husband's invention. Now, an interview, friends, is a meeting where someone asks questions to get information. You might go to an interview if you want to get a new job, or maybe you have seen celebrities interviewed on TV before where they are asked about a recent movie that they were in.
That's right. So those are two very different kinds of interviews. We usually call the first a job interview. And here in our lesson is kind of more the second that Anne-Marie was talking about. She still gives interviews. In other words, when someone offers to interview her about something, she takes the request and she goes with it. And in that situation, she becomes the interviewee. The person being interviewed is the interviewee. What is the person doing the interview called?
They are the interviewer.
That's right. The interviewer and the interviewee are all involved in this interview process.
All right, so we learn a little bit more about the family. Enrique Jr. runs COPA. Now, we see here that he runs something. This means that he manages it or controls it. This is usually used for a business or an activity.
That's right. Run is one of those English words that has like hundreds of different definitions and usages, but here it does mean to operate. For another example, she runs a small bakery with her family. So here we see Enrique Jr. Junior is often the name given to somebody, somebody's son who has the exact same name as the dad. So Enrique and Enrique Jr. And if there is a junior, then we could call the original Enrique Sr.
That's right. Here's the next question. What is COPA? Well, COPA is a company that honors his father's legacy by producing high-quality padel gear. Now, this company honors his father's legacy. This means that it shows respect for and continues the good work of the father.
I really like the name of this organization. We've got COPA. I'm not exactly sure if it's short for Corcuera Pa, as in like Papa or Padre, which means father.
Or padel.
Or padel. Oh, there it is. There it is. because we were talking about how it honors his father's legacy, right? All right. I think you're right about that, though. There's Corcuera Padel, right? COPA, it honors his father's legacy. Well, we read on here, interest in the sport is only increasing. That means more and more people are beginning to find out about and love this sport.
It says here, a padel court may soon be coming to a location near you. Location, this just means a place or a position.
That's right. So if you haven't played Corcuera Padel before, maybe you can try it soon if there is a place near you where you can play it. I'm not sure, Anne-Marie, I'm going to have to do my research.
Same with me. I have never heard of a place nearby that we could play padel, but it is something I will have to look up.
Well, right now it is not time for us to play anything. It's time for us to pay attention as we learn something with today's fun fact.
Okay, we are finished talking about padel, friends, so I am going to ask the same question I asked Gabe yesterday. Would you like to play padel?
Yeah, I would. I would like to play padel, Anne-Marie. But I was wondering about something.
What's that?
Is padel an Olympic sport? And actually, I discovered it's not an Olympic sport.
Oh, I wonder why.
Well, the reason is because it doesn't meet all of the requirements for an Olympic sport, which is maybe one of the reasons why I hadn't heard of it before, because, I don't know, you generally do hear about most of the different Olympic sports. It has to be played in at least 75 different countries on 4 continents but for men, and then at least 3 continents for women. And so
Okay.
I guess it doesn't meet all of those requirements.
So we read in our article that this sport is gaining popularity.
Yeah.
So maybe it just hasn't gained enough popularity yet.
Yes.
That doesn't mean it won't be an Olympic sport in the future.
You know, it sounds like the kind of sport that could be an Olympic sport in the future. It kind of reminds me of ultimate, or sometimes we call it ultimate frisbee. Sometimes I'm frustrated because I think ultimate is such a fun sport to watch, probably similar to padel in that it's entertaining to watch. So I'm like, why can't it be an Olympic sport yet? Well, it also doesn't meet the requirements.
I see. All right, friends. Well, that's all the time we have for today. My name is Anne-Marie.
And my name is Gabe. We will see you next time right here on
Studio Classroom.